Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Black Collegiate Experience. I'm Andre Garner with the Black Inc. Group, and I have as a guest today a good friend, a longtime friend, and fellow member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. But Derrick Lowery, who's our guest, has another role tangentially related to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. He's a part of a group that started about 37 years ago, around the time when I joined Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. 37 years ago, Omega formed an organization called the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Federal Credit Union. And at that time, the credit union was formed as an economic development wing of our fraternity. Those of you who are familiar with credit unions know that they are created as an option when organizations want to provide access to capital for their organizations. Much has been made recently about Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority becoming the first sorority or Black women's sorority that has actually provided access to capital through a credit union for their members. But Omega Psi Phi actually has been doing this for quite a while. And Derrick's been serving on the board of the Omega Psi Phi Federal Credit Union for a while. I serve on the marketing committee for the Omega Psi Phi Federal Credit Union. Have been working with Derrick in creating new awareness programs and trying to get more members engaged and accessing this great tool that we have amongst Omega and our members and folks who are related to our members in some kind of a way. And we want to talk a little bit today about how that can help not only members of Omega Psi Phi and people who are members of our credit union, but also many of you who might have need for access to credit for loans and for credit cards and for other uses of money. Welcome to our show, Derrick.
Thank you. And Andre, I appreciate the warm introduction.
Listen, Derrick, tell us a little bit about your personal background, if you would, and how you came to this role.
No problem. Professionally, I am in the information technology arena, and I've served in a variety of capacities, but currently I serve as a program manager in the healthcare industry for implementing new business opportunities where we go in and produce Medicaid and Medicare solutions for states in that capacity. From a fraternity standpoint, I was initiated into the fraternity in 1984, and I've served in a variety of capacities from my local chapter, which is from Hampton University, Gamma Epsilon, on through different chapters. I've served in Buffalo, as well as I'm currently in the Wilmington, Delaware area. I've served on the district level in different capacities. I was also a district officer at one point as a district, what we call the treasurer, which is known as the district keeper of finance. And I'm currently on the board. I've been on the board over 10 years now for the credit union, served as the treasurer, served as the first vice president, and currently I'm serving as the president.
Great. Tell us a little bit, if you would, offer a profile of the Omega Psi Phi Federal Credit Union, a little bit of its history, how large or maybe not so large it is, and what we try to do with our credit union with Omega Psi Phi.
Excellent. Yeah, the credit union, as you indicated, was initiated back in 1986. There were approximately 13 individuals who signed up to put this together. They came out of their own pockets to get it going. And the credit union was initially in Washington, D.C., area where the fraternity headquarters was located. And it was a partnership, and it still is a partnership. And the credit union began offering members a place to deposit money. Many of the members used to use that savings account to just put money to say they want to go to the additional conventions or special things they have on the side. And then eventually we started offering what we call Loans for Life. That was one of the first big programs that were offered, that whenever there was a life membership opportunity and someone did not want to pay the cash up front, they could borrow the money from the credit union. And we still do that today. We have grown probably in the last, I'm going to go back 5 years. We were $1 million in assets, just over that, to now we're about 4.2 million over the past 5 years. So that's been a significant growth. Our membership has grown. Currently, we are at approximately 3,000 members, but we are always looking to bring on more members and offer them different products and services. Right now, our main products and services are a traditional savings account, we have a checking account, and we have a money market account. Our money market account have 4 tiers of different interest rates of savings that they may partake and take advantage of. And one of the big opportunities we have are whenever uh, we look at car loans, we look at an opportunity to give members an opportunity to get reduced rates from the traditional rates they may get on the street. And that program has been pretty successful. And we're growing.
Mhm.
We're trying to expand into some other markets. For example, home equities, but there are still some things that we need to address there. We focus a lot of our attention on our membership, which is members of the Mega Psi Phi Fraternity, but we also offer it to their family members. If a particular member has a business and he wants to expand that to members of their private business, they can do that. And because we were one of the first to establish a credit union of the what we call the Divine Nine, which are the Panhellenic uh, Greek letter organization. We
Mhm.
also offer the opportunity to those individuals. As you indicated, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority just started one, but our membership still does allow for them to join our credit union if necessary, as well as other members of the other Greek letter Divine Nine organization.
That's fantastic. And I want to go back just a little bit and talk about the necessity for not only Omega Psi Phi's credit union, but other credit unions. You know, Derek, we've recently started to network with and join forces with other credit union networks. Credit unions were sort of a response to, I want to call it this, a group of folks who were largely unbanked, either folks who didn't have access to banking resources, be it depository institutions or lending institutions that would actually give loans in their communities, or to folks who um, looked or like them, or who met similar financial or other profiles as they tended to make up. And so folks started to get together and pool their resources and create their own institutions, right? Whether they were employees of a particular organization or a particular um, industry, they would get together and form their own opportunities to access capital. And I think that's important to point out in the history of credit unions. And of course, as people of color, we've had, quite the rocky history when it comes to accessing capital in this country in particular. And credit unions have played an important role. So we've joined together with a few groups. I know one of them is the faith-based credit union that's here in Chicago, where our show emanates from. And there's groups, other groups that we've become a part of. Talk a little bit about how important it is that credit unions, which tend to be smaller organizations for the most part, there are a few larger credit unions, how important it is for those organizations to network together and support one another, and not necessarily look at one another as competitors for the small person or small organization's business.
That's exactly right. And when those organizations that have like backgrounds, credit unions, be it if it's a coming from our perspective, a fraternity or sorority perspective, or if it's coming from a religious perspective. But what you bring together is a need to service your particular population, your community. And you utilize each other to understand how might you identify funds that may be out there in the market? Basically,
Hmm.
grants. There are larger organizations, sometimes there are other banks, or there may be institutions that says we have capital. We would like to put that capital in the hands of organizations who already have members who can
Hmm.
benefit from it and who can distribute it in a fair and equitable manner. And then place organizations like us would apply to receive grants or those funds so that we can, one, expand our financial ability to distribute those funds, but also to better enhance the members who are seeking some way of borrowing money where they may not be able to receive it from the traditional banking world.
Hmm. Yeah, and we've learned a lot in recent years, in particular on our marketing committee. With I think you would agree with that. The marketing committee that we both have participated in with the credit union, even though you're currently the president, we've also worked on this marketing committee, for quite a while now. And I want to shout out a friend of mine, Rob McGee, who's a career loan banker here in the Chicago area. He's not a member of Omega Psi Phi. He's actually a member of Kappa Alpha Psi that I went to college and high school with. And he actually has tutored me a lot in this space. And he introduced me to an organization that I helped introduce our credit union to, Inclusive. And what an organization it is. It's sort of an organization of organizations. And those organizations are, in fact, small and sort of credit unions that service, populations that tend to struggle with access. And we've learned a lot through that group, and we've been able to, in some cases, access opportunities that we might not have otherwise been able to access. And we're continuing to learn, and we actually achieve economies of scale of some things. You want to talk about some of the things we've been able to access through Inclusive, and some of the opportunities that might even be coming up?
Yes, excuse me, inclusive, and thanks a large part to some of your guidance, has enabled us to receive some of the grants that allow us to lend more capital to our members. Inclusive brings together a wealth of players
Hmm.
in terms of how they can better expand their credit union, how to negotiate and address particular rules and regulations with the governing body. The banks are covered by the Federal Depository Insurance Commission, FDIC. Credit unions are governed by the body of the NCUA, National Credit Union Association, and therefore Inclusive has political insights to those organizations. They have
Hmm.
resources that help smaller credit unions like us to identify where there might be opportunities for grants that we can apply towards, and those grants allow us to do things like maybe expanding our technology. And in our example, uh, 2 years ago, we took a leap and we are now a fully digital organization. Prior to that, 2 or 3 years ago, mainly we were a paper processing credit union, meaning you call the office, you
Right.
need to get your monies pulled out. We have to write you a check.
Right.
Now we have a mobile device that you can use, or you
Hmm.
can go online and you just make and transfer money. If I wanted to transfer money to another member, I can just by a few button presses, and that money goes to them. If I wanted to extract that money and bring it right into my account from another institution, I can do that as well. So these are some of the things that partnering with people like Inclusive and other organizations that can put it in touch with folks that can help us fund these things, because in most cases they do cost money to be able to execute, and
Right.
this allow us to brand to one broaden our brand, but
Right.
also to the betterment of the members. And for most part, most people don't realize, but credit unions are a not for profit. So whenever we have growth, we turn around and put that growth outside of our expenses back into products and services that the members can benefit.
And that's got to be game changing for a small organization that has a national footprint, right?
Yes. Yes.
When you have to operate analog and with paper and pen and paper from a singular location, and then disseminate things across the country, it's quite the challenge. Listen, Derrick, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit longer about the credit union and about a few things that we're anticipating and looking to grow towards moving forward. Again, we're talking with Derrick Lowery, the president of the Omega Psi Phi Federal Credit Union. You're listening to the Black Collegiate Experience with Andre Garner here from the Black Inc. Group.
Are you looking for some great barbecue? Then look no further than No Sauce AZ Smokehouse, located 2055 West 79th Street in Chicago. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. No Sauce AZ Smokehouse has the best in pork and turkey tips, smoked pork slabs, wings, and catfish. And at No Sauce AZ Smokehouse, they smoke the briskets for no less than 14 hours to seal in the smokehouse flavor. Good. And don't forget about the side. Baked mac and cheese, baked beans, coleslaw, and for dessert, got that pound cake and peach cobbler. Delivery is available. DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats. So head on over to No Sauce AZ Smokehouse, located 2055 West 79th Street, or call in your order, 773-891-4684. That's 773-891-4684. No Sauce AZ Smokehouse. Food so good, you don't need no damn sauce. Hey everybody, it's Lamont Watts, the CSO of Radio, Chief Stepping Officer from ClubSteppin.com. Do you have your Club Steppin t-shirt yet? You don't? Go to our store today. Go on ClubSteppin.com/store and get your t-shirt, your hoodie. We've got sweat towels, we got mugs. Go check it out. And also, if you're an advertiser for a business or an organization, you got a special discount over there if you purchase your commercials over there. So go today, ClubSteppin.com/store, and come be part of the ClubSteppin.com family. Get your t-shirt, all colors, even though, I like purple. So get yours today. Look forward to seeing you in your Club Steppin shirt.
All right, I'm Andre Garner. I'm back for the Black Collegiate Experience, and we're talking with Derrick Lowery from the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Federal Credit Union about some of the new and exciting things that the credit union is doing, and about the entire movement, really, of credit unions helping to change the tenor in our nation when it comes to access to credit, in particular in underserved communities, and even more specifically in communities of color. Derrick, I know a couple years ago, maybe about a year and a half to 2 years ago, we really started focusing with our credit union on these auto loans, something we hadn't put a lot of emphasis on before, but we formed a really creative partnership with an organization that actually had a fully online opportunity for folks, our members all across the country, to log on, peruse car purchasing opportunities all around the nation, pick out a vehicle, click on and do a financing application, check out, and I think you can even have the car probably delivered by many of the car dealers right to your door, all with a few clicks on a computer. That's a great tool that we've been able to offer, and I think it's really the kind of thing that we really need, because we've been able to offer some really attractive rates, in particular when it comes to used cars, and it's really, I think, a good opportunity for some of our younger members in particular who maybe have slow credit. I know when I first got out of college, I became an Omega at 19 years old. When you get out of college, you think life is going to be peaches and cream, but when they tell you your credit is slow, what they're really trying to tell you is you're going to get ridiculous interest rates proposed to you when you need a car to get to your first job.
That's right.
So talk a little bit about that program, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that we're hoping to expand to, and talk about the newest grant that we recently got, thanks to Inclusive.
No problem. Yes. So we've partnered with an organization called GrooveCar, and GrooveCar works with us, and they brand the website that allows our members to search an auto dealer anywhere in the continental U.S. plus Puerto Rico and Hawaii. And what happens is, as you're doing your search, as you find the vehicle that you like, there are tools out there, calculators that's on there, and you will find different rates that are keen to what we're offering. If you identify a particular vehicle that you want, you can give us the details of it, such as the VIN number. We can also give you a pre-approval, and that's what's helped a lot of our credit union members. They get the pre-approval, so now they have leveraging power to go in and negotiate the rate.
Very important when you're shopping.
Now, I will admit that for cars that are brand new coming from the dealerships, that is a little bit more challenging. But we really are competitive when it comes to vehicles that are pre-owned. And when I say pre-owned, they may be no more than 2 years. Sometimes it's the pre-owned status is based upon how many miles it has, i.e. 50,000 miles, for example, or something of that nature. But what it does is, because the car is now at a reduced rate other than coming off the manufacturing line, we're able to compete from a rate standpoint with anyone else. And occasionally we run what we call special rates. We do a competitive market analysis against where some of the major lending institutions are, and we ask ourselves, can we compete with them? And what we'll do sometimes is we'll transfer an existing car loan you have to us at a lower rate. And when we've executed those programs, we've had very good success in members being able to execute that. So that's worked to our advantage. And like I said, we meet with GrooveCar once a quarter. We look at other promotional information that they have that they can share with us. And we have analytics that we're starting to evaluate to see how much traffic we're receiving. And they provide assistance to us to ensure that we can drive our members to our website. And for those of you who have car dealerships, we have what they call a preferred vendor. And if you want to sign up and be a preferred vendor for the Psi Phi Fraternity Federal Credit Union, reach out to us. You can send an email to info at OPPFFCU.com, requesting you'd like to be part of that preferred vendor, and then we'll coordinate that with GrooveCar and get the process rolling.
And I kind of know the answer to this because we've done it before. If we've got either members of our fraternity or other preferred dealers that we want to work with, would we use our social media platforms to help promote and push folks maybe toward those vendors?
Oh, most definitely. And I'm glad you mentioned social media, because that is one of the areas that we're moving from our traditional email communications, and we're starting to advance our communications via Facebook. Actually, we've already started doing Facebook and LinkedIn, and coming up in this next 6 months, starting probably in December, we're going to start adding one other platform to our social media communications. And what we're trying to do is reach our members where they are. And we recognize, if we look at the plethora of members we have within the fraternity and the extended family members, that our senior members are most likely traditional. They'll do emails and things like that. But our younger members are focused on the social media platforms. And that's where we're trying to reach them, because we want them to be aware that there is funding available, and they should give us a first choice to help them make a financial decision.
Absolutely. And we've actually, again, thanks to some of the assistance we've received from Inclusive and working together with other partners, we've been able to receive some assistance in marketing. We've hired a marketing consultant that's working with us. She's a member of Delta Sigma Theta, and we're moving right into aggressively exploring social media spaces. So, like you said, in December, we're going to be actually expanding our social media presence to some other platforms moving forward. You want to talk a little bit about the most recent grant we were fortunate to receive?
Yes. Inclusive is one of those organizations that assists uh, smaller credit unions like ourselves to have access to capital to expand different things. And we were blessed to be awarded a $50,000 grant. And as a result of that $50,000 grant, we're now working on spreading opportunities that we want to do. One is going to be in our marketing for this social media platform. Another is going to be in looking at how we can extend credit to members whom we may have previously rejected because of certain credit conditions that they may have. So we're actively looking at how we can be more of an assistance to our members as well as to those that want to borrow money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And one of the things that's frequently discussed, I know on our marketing committee calls, is this whole idea of how far can we push the envelope when it comes to putting capital at risk. And I know at some point, we're going to have other informational resources on this show to talk about what's available coming out of DC. We've touched a little bit when we actually had Omega's Grand Bossless Ricky Lewis on the show, and we've had other economic development experts on the show talking about the SBA's reach out to the Divine Nine members and to HBCUs in particular, focused on getting Black entrepreneurs up to speed on what's available. And we want to talk a little bit more about things like tax credits. We want to talk about the money that's still available from the transportation bill that was passed early on in the Biden administration that still needs to be taken advantage of. And one of the things that we talk again about in these marketing committee meetings is the money that's made available to certified organizations through capital that's meant to be put at risk. But that certification that's made available to organizations was put on hold about a year ago. And we're going to be standing in line because the $50,000 we received, whereas we're certainly grateful for it, I know you are, it's the tip of the iceberg that's available. And you want to talk just briefly about the universe of what we could do if we could potentially put our hands on money that we could actually make available and put at risk and potentially create a whole new universe of what we can make available to folks who previously might have been deemed, bad credit risk.
Understood. Yeah, and the that particular NCOA grant funding hasn't been released for the way they did it in 2020, late 2022, and so far in 2023. But essentially, they allow credit unions to bid, and we're talking in the tune of hundreds of 100,000, sometimes more than that, of funding that they can say you can put this on the street, you can keep some to reserve for risk taking that you put out there, and then what that allows us to do, and I'll just use this as an example, a person whose credit, and this is just arbitrary, it's not fixed, whose credit score may be say 550. That may not traditionally receive the awarding that they expect for what they consider a small personal loan. Let's use $15,000. But these opportunities that the Inclusive and the NCUA are going to release hopefully soon, where people like us, Omega Credit Union, can go out and bid on it, then we are allowed to say, okay, we can take a more of a risk on that individual to repay the funds back. But by same token, we can set aside some of it so that it doesn't do any damage to the organization as a whole and impact our existing members. So exactly. That's one of the benefits of those programs. It gives
this is through the CDFI fund. The federal
Yes.
CDFI.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Yep, I was trying to recall the acronym. Thank you, I appreciate that. And yes, that gives us an opportunity to expand and lend those funds to individuals, giving them an opportunity to receive that capital, and hopefully it will put them in a better position so that they in turn can stand up on their feet and do things that they need to do. And then it gives us, it opens the door for us to maybe expand certain services. Like one of the things I know we're interested in doing is going into the debit card, credit card market, but
Mhm.
there are some risks that we need to be aware of in doing that. So
Right.
we're constantly evaluating how we may be able to expand that already. We do have a branded credit card, but it's more of a service. But we're looking
Okay.
to provide a credit card, debit card that we, the Omega Credit Union, owns and operates.
That's great. Listen, we've come to the end of our segment here, but I want you to give the folks just some contact information on how they can get more information on the Omega Psi Phi Federal Credit Union. I know you gave an email address earlier for dealers who want to be a part of our Groove Car initiative, but give folks a website or other information on how they can get in contact with or more information on the credit union in general or become a member.
Sure. Let me start off first with the phone number. They're
Mhm.
easy to remember. 1-800, the number 4, the number 2, and spell the word Omega, OMEGA. That phone will ring, and then appropriate back office resources will return your call upon the message leaving if you don't reach them right away. If you want to go to the website and just move around the website, because we obviously use that to promote information and share information that's available. And the Omega website is www. It spells the word Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Federal Credit Union using the acronyms OPPFFCU.com. And then if you would like to just send an email, you can send it to info at OPPFFCU.com.
So that's 1-800-42 Omega.
Yes.
And then you've got OPPFFCU.com.
Correct.
All right. And then for email, info at OPPFFCU.com.
Correct.
All right. So you've heard it twice, and you've heard it right from the man, the president of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Federal Credit Union, Derrick Lowery. Derrick, thanks again for your time today. And we look forward to hearing more and great things from the Omega Psi Phi Federal Credit Union as it grows and prospers, and as we help communities all around the country, communities of color in particular, to grow and to thrive. Thanks again.
Andre, thank you for having us on, and we continue to enjoy the partnership we have with you on the marketing committee.
All right. That does it again for this segment of the Black Collegiate Experience here on Future Vision Entertainment. And have a great Saturday. We appreciate you.
Let's take a quick listen to what the other stations are doing. Oh, God, no. Oh, dear.
Hey, baby,
You've gotta be kidding.
I bought you a present, baby.
I've scraped better off the bottom of my shoe. We're playing the music you want. So, let's get back to the good stuff.
Clubsteppin.com.
Welcome to the club.